How to avoid real estate scams. This is the video that could save you thousands of dollars and protect you from getting hurt badly by not being aware of how people scam you. Don't fall for some of these things that people do. We're going to list them right now. I'm going to talk to you about how I personally got scammed in real estate at the end of this video with a horrible story. We're going to talk about the importance of inspections in real estate so you don't get yourself hurt and which ones to do. And I'm going to tell you about a tactic that's used by scammers to get your money, especially if you're thinking about renting or buying. They do it on both sides of the real estate transaction. I've bought and sold millions and millions of dollars worth of properties over my lifetime, renovated hundreds of homes, literally, and owned apartment buildings, owned motels, remodeling hotels, developed property, built houses. I've been in this game. I do it every day, all the time. I was doing deals this morning on a break. I just got off the phone on a refinance on a property, trying to pull out $3 million, and that looks like it's going to get approved. So I'm a real estate guy. I do this stuff every single day. And I'm not the only one. I'm not the richest. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the best, but I'm pretty damn good. And I've been doing this for a long time. And so the reason I do these videos is to help you in your real estate investing. And this is one of the most important topics for you not to get scammed. I don't want you to lose your money. I don't want you to make mistakes. You can lose money in real estate, but you can also lose money by being tricked in real estate because you don't understand what's going on. So the beauty today of YouTube and the internet is that it's a massive encyclopedia and library where you can gather information to protect yourself. And this is one of the most important videos to learn how to protect yourself. The number one real estate scam today is wire fraud. Wire fraud is where you are given the wrong account number to send money to, thinking that you are sending it to the title company, and it's not the title company, it's someone else. And we're not talking minor fraud, like a few thousand for a deposit. We're talking about people that have lost millions or hundreds of thousands by being tricked, given wire information that was not from the title company and not verified and confirmed. So before you wire money to anyone for a real estate transaction, you confirm with the title company that it's the correct account, and you make sure that you confirm with your bank that everything adds up. Do not wire money using things like Venmo and PayPal for real estate. Use a bank account or get a cashier's check and bring a cashier's check to the title company as long as you have a number of days for them to clear that check. It's much safer. Typically, the way the scam works is you'll get an email right when you're about to close the home telling you to go ahead and wire in your money, but it's not from the title company. Scammers monitor some of these transactions that are going on and target you to get you to wire your down payment money to them. A second big scam is that people do is they hide defects in the property, okay? How do they do this? One of the most common things people do is on roofing, is underneath the eaves. They're all rotted and damaged, and they'll put plywood over that and it'll cover it up, so instead of it being open, you can't see it anymore. Another common scam is putting siding around damaged property or painting over mold and mildew and other things that you can't see, and then after you buy the property, it starts to come through. So one of the challenges that you have as an investor is you have to overcome unscrupulous sellers and avoid scams where they're trying to hide or cover up defects in the property. And so it's important that you get inspections. Now, we talked about the inspections that are important. I recommend that you always get a termite or pest inspection. The reason why you get a termite or pest inspection is because termites can eat the wood structure of the building and cause structural damage that can cost tens of thousands of dollars to repair. So there's two types of main termites: subterranean, they come out of the ground, and flying wood-eating termites that actually, they're called drywood termites, that'll go and fly around seasonally. It sees bugs flying around. Those are termites, and they eat the house, and they're both bad. But the flying termites or drywood termites, sometimes you need to tent the whole house to get rid of them. Know that the cost of that can be anywhere from $15,000 to $2,000, so it's not the end of the world. But then you got to go in and fix whatever damage they did if it's so much damage that it needs to be repaired. So I always recommend you get a termite report or pest control property on any property you buy. The second report I recommend that you get is a home inspection of the property. Unless you're an experienced investor like me, I develop property, do construction on property. I've been doing this for years. I can go through and get a pretty good idea of what's going on. But it's good to get a home inspection to tell you all the defects that are going on. Some of them may be life-threatening defects, like if you remember the people that went to Mexico and the whole family died because they didn't have a carbon monoxide detector. By not having a carbon monoxide detector in the unit they rented, ventilated properly, they killed all of them. So you don't want to be the landlord who doesn't have a detector for a fire or a detector for carbon monoxide. You want to be safe. You want to protect your tenants. So when people scam, one of the things they do is cover things up or sell you properties that have defects in them, like the wrong venting on the hot water heater not strapped so it can get damaged or cause a fire, or other things that are important for you to get inspected. Most of you do not have the experience to go through these things, and that's why you pay somebody a few $100 to do the inspections and give you a report. And they're very thorough today, and you want those reports, and sometimes you can use those reports to negotiate a better price. The next one is this common scam, and I'm going to tell you about it right after you subscribe. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't get ripped off and lose your money. And this is called the invisible house, okay? The house you never saw, the house that somehow is the hot place, the hot pictures, looks great. This scam is done on Airbnb all the time. People show up, they wire their money, they've never seen the place, and the place doesn't exist. They saw an apartment in a hot building. Oh, it's for rent, it's a great deal. It doesn't exist. They went to go buy a house, everybody wants it, send your deposit in, give me a deposit. Always urgent, always right now. Send your money, send your money, send your money. You're going to lose it. Somebody else is going to get it. You're going to get it. You're going to get your money lost. Unless it's a vacation rental, if it's something you're buying, you want to physically see it before you give anybody any money. That doesn't mean you can't write a contract on it to buy it or a contract to rent it, but you do not give any money until your 2 feet are standing inside that property. Make sure you see it. Now with Airbnb, of course, you have to get referrals, references, and all that. You're going to have some trust there. But again, for most of you who are renting long-term property or buying property, you want to see the property, you want to go through it. I'm going to tell you a story later in this video about a property that once I went in and I was shocked, and I'll tell you what happened. The next one is the mortgage scam. This is where the mortgage company calls you and tells you, oh, I got this great loan for you, we're going to do all this stuff and all that. And then right when you get to the end, they raise the interest rate, they charge you a bunch of fees, and you end up having trouble closing the property, or you end up closing because it's too late, you're going to lose your deposit. So with this scam, it's important that you get a couple bids or quotes for your loan to find out what you should be paying, and work with reputable lenders who are licensed. Usually the banks for most of you is where you want to go to get your money. So it's important that you get quotes for your mortgage to make sure you don't get scammed. This next one was a big scam in Las Vegas where people were in foreclosure and they were renting the house. They were taking all the rent money and not paying the mortgage. And eventually the tenant, you or the person renting, comes in and finds out they weren't even paying the thing. And now I'm getting kicked out. What did I do? Well, you didn't do anything wrong, right? But they did. So they took your rent money and they didn't pay for the property and you got kicked out. The other scam on that is somebody says they're in foreclosure and they're going to take your money and give you a deed to the property, and they're not going through a title company, and you find out they don't even own the property anymore. They've already been foreclosed on. So they're trying to get your money to buy it or to rent it, and they don't own it. So there's title companies who would do a title search to ensure that they own it. The other thing you could do is confirm that they're paying their mortgage before you get involved in giving them any money. You can often tell when something's a scam when there's all this urgency. You got to do it right now. You're going to lose the deal. I need your money right now. Hurry up. Get that wire in today. I need it. Hurry. That's a bad sign, my friends. Okay? There's no rush here. What's the rush? All right? If it's that much of a rush, you don't need the deal. Okay? All this miss out, all this, you're going to miss it. You're going to lose thousands if you don't put your $5,000 deposit in right now. Don't buy for that scam. All right? Be careful with your money. Use title companies. Use realtors. Be careful dealing directly with sellers. You can, but be careful. Make sure they own the property. Okay? Don't take their word for it. Confirm it. Don't buy properties without going through escrow. Don't give people cash and have them give you some deed which may not even be legal. You may not even be able to record it. There may be liens on the property from taxes or other things that you're not aware of. That's why you get a title report. So one of the ways to avoid that scam by using an escrow company is to get a title report and look at the title and make sure there's nothing on there like liens or other problems that could cause you to lose money. Another scam that you got to watch out for, and it's not always a scam, but you got to be careful, is flipping contracts. This is where real estate investors go out and they get a contract on a property and then want to flip it to you. I've seen these deals where the real estate investor who has the contract, who's trying to flip it to you, won't even tell you where the property is. I mean, they're just like, oh, it's worth this. I mean, it's crazy. Won't give you any disclosures at all, or very little, or want you to sign a confidentiality agreement. Okay, before you give any money for a person flipping a contract, you don't even know if that seller even exists. Does that seller even own the home? I mean, they could just write this up and say, 123 South Street is owned by Mrs. Smith, and I have a contract to sell it to you, and you find out Mrs. Smith doesn't own it, okay? Somebody else does. There's a big loan on it, and all kinds of other facts. There's real problems with those. They sometimes are legitimate, sometimes are not. How do you protect yourself? Use a title company, use an attorney, do verification, okay? Don't give somebody money to flip. Well, if you don't give it to me, I'm going to give it to this other person. Okay, give it to the other person, all right? Because you're not going to really lose. You're going to get yourself in a nightmare where you don't have a disclosure, you don't know about the property, you don't know about the title, you don't know even the seller sometimes. You don't even know if the seller on the contract really even owns the property or if somebody made it up, right? So you have to be careful with your money and investing in real estate, and these are some of the scams that can do it. Now I'm going to tell you a story about a property that I looked at for years that was across from my property and what happened. I was going to buy this property, and I was under the impression that the property was in good condition. It was listed for a couple million. It was across from one of my properties, and there was a big thing about going through and looking at the property. Like, what's the big deal? It was a distressed property, and the realtor was like, we don't want to show it, and we want to make sure that you're qualified to buy, and all this nonsense, right? They knew I was qualified to buy. I owned an $8 million building across the street. I was trying to buy it for like a couple $1,000,000, okay? So I heard that this building won this award in 2008 for being remodeled by this person, and then he got in trouble, got in foreclosure. Long story short, I finally got to go in the property after I had it in contract and had put my deposit in escrow, okay? Keywords in escrow. I used a realtor to buy it, all right? Not the listing agent in this case. When I went in to see the property, I was shocked. The owner of the property had got a loan from the government to redo the property, but what she didn't realize was she had to pay prevailing wage to fix the property up. So she had these investors, bought this property, gutted the property, and then found out that she had to pay way more than she expected for somebody to remodel it, put it back together. Her loss of money was based on a misunderstanding, it appears, of the words that were used in the contract, which didn't say prevailing wage, but actually used the name of a congressperson that was involved in putting together this bill. In Term 31, it's also called a Starker exchange. So there's different names for things sometimes in legal documents, and you have to research what those words mean to confirm you understand them. So when I went into the property, all the bathrooms were ripped out, all the kitchens were ripped out, a lot of the sheetrock was ripped out, and this person who won an award in 2008 for remodeling the property, which was just 12 years before. Now everything was gone. So the cost to repair the property meant you had to put in new plumbing, that a lot of it was ripped out, update the electrical, put in new kitchens, put in new bathrooms. You had to put everything in. So the value of the building was much less than I was willing to pay, and I got out of it. Had I not gone into the building, I had a presumption in my mind based on information that was provided to me by reliable sources that this building was remodeled, and the listing agent who showed it to me showed me a boarded up building in the back where I had to take off the boards and found nothing but studs and wood and a little bit of remnants left of some plumbing and the electrical, which hadn't been ripped out yet. So go see what you're buying. Don't be scammed. Go in the property. Don't buy a house that looks pretty on the outside. You go inside, there's a lot of problems on the inside. I'm Paul Maguire. Don't forget to subscribe and join me in one of my other videos where I talk about 1031 tax-deferred exchanges and what they mean and how you can use them to build your wealth. I'll talk to you soon.